let's talk about that Saints-Chiefs game. The Saints wound up losing. They fell behind and then, made it closer. The score, kind of looked like it was a good game or it was close, but it was kind of came late, the points to make it look like a respectable game. But in that game, TJ, we got to see Drew Brees, the return of Drew Brees after 4 weeks and 11 broken ribs or damaged ribs or whatever he had. He had a half a slab or a slab?
Probably a full slab.
That's a full slab, right? 11 ribs because I think 24 is all we got. But anyway, give me your thoughts on how he looked because he didn't look good to me. And maybe it's the rust, not playing it for 4 weeks or whatever, or is it just that he's old?
No, when you miss the amount of games that he missed, it's going to be hard to come back in and be yourself. But I'm not in the same realm where you are and saying, oh, it was just a bad. I don't see that. It was a 3-point game, and you can they made it close at the end. It was a 3-point game, and their best defensive player got thrown out. And they had constant pressure on Mahomes, and Mahomes is so good in the pocket and such a great athlete that he was able to escape. But Mahomes didn't play a great game. He was 26 for 47, 254 yards.
And matter of fact, he was under 100 in the quarterback rating. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't like the numbers might have looked better than they were, but he didn't play great.
No, and Breeze wasn't fantastic himself. I believe he was 15 for 34. And Breeze normally is going to complete upwards of 68 to 73% of his passes. And that wasn't him, but he missed plenty of games. And then you come back. The Chiefs were always known for offense, but the Chiefs are a complete team this year. They're good offensively and they're good defensively. And again, that they play great? No. That they have their best weapon outside of Drew Brees? That's probably debatable. And Michael Thomas, it could be Alvin Kamara. They didn't have Michael Thomas as well. And so I don't look at it that way. I thought they played a great game. You lose your best pass rusher in a game where they had constant pressure on Mahomes. If I'm New Orleans, I walk away from that game saying if we can face them again, I like my chances.
The only problem was it was the first time since December 2006 that Breeze completed less than 45% passes in a game. And, he got off to a shaky start. Even the first half, 5 for 16, 87 yards, had that interception. There were just a couple things, and I just remember him the last couple of years, late as the season wore on, and it always seemed like his arm was petering out, dying a little bit. I hear what you're saying, and those are all legit, but they gave up the number 1 seed in the NFC, right, while he was out. They gave that up, and now if they're going to get to the Super Bowl, it ain't going to come through New Orleans. They're going to have to go on the road. And while I like their defense a lot, I'm just not as confident about Drew Brees. He scares me, TJ. I'm not sure what Drew Brees is going to show up come postseason.
So this narrative about Drew Brees breaking down at the end of the season, that may or may not be true, and I would probably venture to it that may be true side. But you look at last year, he missed games. When he came back, he was fresh. And so I look at this year as being the same way. He missed some games. He'll come back towards the end of the season. Missing those games are going to keep him fresh. What hurt the Saints last night or yesterday, it was a time of possession. Chiefs had the ball for 41 minutes. The Saints barely 18 minutes and 46 seconds.
Well, that's what happens when you give up 179 yards on the ground.
Right. They didn't possess the ball long enough. I believe the Saints ran the ball, I want to say 16, 17 times. And so that's what hurt them. Again, if you're the New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees' first game back against the best team in the league, and it's not close. It might be close with the Bills.
The Bills are for real, dude.
And for them to keep that game and again, they scored late to make it a one-score game, which the spread was 3, kind of hurt some people.
Kind of hurt some people.
Kind of hurt some people.
Are you kidding?
But if you're the Saints, you walk away from that game saying our best defensive player gets ejected, which I don't believe he should have. Look, nobody's going to just punch a helmet. I think it was more open hand than anything, but he got ejected. And Michael Thomas isn't playing. This is Drew Brees' first game back. He's probably not 100%, I like that. I don't like that we lost, but if we can see them again, I really like our chances.
So you're looking at it and saying, "Hey, everything wasn't perfect." As Drew Brees with the 4 weeks, is he going to be okay in a couple more weeks? Do we know? I mean, he wasn't having like the greatest season. It was more about that team was based on the defense. I mean, let's just be honest. When they ran off those 9 games in a row, I don't care who was quarterback, and that the defense was playing well. I just wonder if Drew Brees will be up to it. In the NFC, when you talk about some of the quarterbacks you might have to face and making it happen. So I think you make all fair points, but it just wasn't the comeback. I don't know. You think they rushed him back maybe a week early because they thought that was a big game. They were hoping that maybe they could win it if they put Drew Brees in there, win that game, even up with Green Bay. You know what I mean? Even though Green Bay has the tiebreaker, but instead now they're 2 games back with 2 games to play for that top spot.
You know that plays a part in it. You're playing the Chiefs. The Saints believe they're a Super Bowl team. They know the Chiefs are.
I picked them.
And so it's like, if we meet in the Super Bowl, we want to see where we stack up. And the Chiefs probably were preparing for Taysom Hill. And so to kind of throw Drew Brees in there, they thought maybe would mess with their game plan and whatnot and how they plan to approach the game. Defensively, we're talking the Chiefs. And so Drew Brees, your quarterback. You're only going to go as far as he takes you. I don't believe Taysom Hill can get them where they want to go this year.
I agree with that. So I don't think that he's ready for that.
At this point in the way football is being played in this season, does home field advantage really matter? You want the bye, but home field advantage does not matter this year because there's no fans. And so playing in New Orleans, they don't have that advantage with the crowd noise. Playing in Seattle, things of that nature, they don't have that advantage anymore. And so you want to go into the playoffs healthy and firing on all cylinders. And so by Drew Brees playing, he gets 2 more games to get the rust off and kind of get in the rhythm.
Let's have TJ. You got some calls to chime in?
Yes, sir. Keith from New Orleans. What do you think?
Uncle Rob, what's up, my man?
What's that?
Huge fan. Haven't got a chance to come in and rant for a minute, but no reason to be concerned, man. I think if you watch the game, we should have been routed off the field. We trotted out there a 41-year-old broken in half quarterback. Your best receiver's out. You called 3 people off the street to come play football. Both your DNs, one got hurt, one got kicked out of the game. The safety got hurt. And you're a fumble recovery in the end zone from winning that football game, possibly. Come on, now, man. Why should I be concerned?
Because I'm going to ask you this, Keith, though. Because Drew Brees is old. Because he's coming back after a month layoff. And I know it was 1 game and he's got to get back together. Are you that confident about Drew Brees getting you to where you think you're going to go? That's really what I'm asking you.
Yes. He's better than Peyton Manning was in his last year. He's maybe better than John Elway was his last year as well. So, yes, with that defense, that's a Super Bowl winning football team. We played them better than any team has played them in their Super Bowl run these last 2 years. So, yeah, I'm fine with the effort. I'm fine with the results.
I'm not so sure when you say played them better. I mean, some teams have actually beaten them, and you guys didn't win. So I don't know if you could say you played better than the Raiders.
Does Drew Brees worry you or – okay, Keith, you're gone.
Yep.
So we got one more call. Ty from Palm Springs on the Odd Couple. What do you say?
How we doing, guys?
Doing good.
I am a massive Saints fan, all right? Almost to delusion, but I try to be objective when I watch the game. But I do agree with the last caller. If Alex Anzalone falls on that ball and scores a touchdown, we're having a completely different conversation. Drew Brees is nowhere close to 100%. Probably somewhere around 80, 85%. And the bottom line is, to me, that final drive is a Cam Jordan ejection away from Drew Brees having 56, 57 seconds to drive the ball down the field. And in the second half of that game, he played significantly better than he did the first half. So I'm not really worried about Drew Brees.
How about
I think
179 yards on the ground? How about that? That doesn't disturb you?
That's a problem.
I'm just trying to keep it real.
Rob.
Okay.
Huge problem, for sure.
Because thank you, appreciate the call. Because TJ, that's the reason for the time differential when you can run the ball and keep the clock running. Am I right?
Yeah, and it's odd with the Saints being they're a run first team or controlled run by getting the ball out quick and screens to Kamara. Dude, they weren't able to do that, and obviously that affects them, and that keeps their defense on the field longer, which tires them out, and so that could be part of the reason the Chiefs pounded them on the ground is because the defense was on the field talking to Saints for so long.
No doubt. I'm just saying, like from where the Saints were, like I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, so I'm not like flip-flopping or anything like that, or I didn't believe in them, and they ran off the 9 wins in a row, but then all of a sudden, Taysom Hill went in. He played okay. I think anybody quarterbacking with the way the defense was playing at that point. At one point during that stretch, TJ, they were giving up 9 points a game. That's how good that defense was. But now I just see a couple of chinks. Now they gave up the number 1 spot. Now they're 2 games behind the Packers. And you're right. It ain't your normal year where you got to go and face these loud crowds and home field disadvantage when you're on the road. But still, it is easier when you're playing in your own building.
Different ball game. You don't have to travel. But I'm telling you, when you go on the road and that crowd is there and you can't really hear, and you want a veteran team or a group of skilled guys and a quarterback that have communicated often non-verbally. So he'll give you 3 or 4 hand signals, and all of them are dummy, just how he's looking at you. And so you don't have to worry about that now. You can really communicate, and they might be able to hear what you're saying, but that's fine. And so those type of things that go on is a game within a game that not many people know about is now you just communicated, and he has it because the crowd isn't loud enough to distract him from seeing or hearing what's going on.
Yeah, I just think, at some point it comes to an end for everybody in the league. You know this, TJ, and I'm not as confident about Drew Brees at moving forward with 11 broken ribs and a collapsed lung and trying to get back and get back to midseason form at the end. Is there no concern that maybe he won't be fully there by the time they play the biggest game of the year come the first playoff game?
It's very possible, and let's see. I see Brandon in Dallas on the Odd Couple. You have a comment about injury history. So what do you say?
Hey, what's up, Rob? What's up, TJ?
How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you. And TJ, I just want to say I love the new weekend show, Up on Game. Y'all have a great cast over there. I'm digging that show, too.
I appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
That's right.
Yes,
TJ trying to be a radio star,
I'm
too.
trying to be like Rob Parker.
Nah, you're going to be bigger
it's
than
working
that.
so far. But, yeah, about the Saints and in particular with Drew Brees, I don't think it's rust at all. Drew Brees is one of those guys that he doesn't need practice time. He doesn't need preseason games. There's no rust there. He can get it done. But I think this injury is just a huge, huge deal. It's a big deal for anybody, but at his age, it's not something you can come back maybe even in the same season and be 100%. He really needs a long time to recover from that. And I think this year it might be too much for them to overcome.
And TJ, have you had busted ribs, TJ?
Rob, no lie. True story. I would break at least 1 or 2 ribs every year, probably starting in like my 5th year, every single year. And I would get a shot in my ribs. Like the needle, I swear to God, is like a foot long. Like you just see it go in and then it starts hitting stuff inside you. It's unbelievable. So, yes, I did every single year. And you would take a shot to play. So I'm very familiar with it, very familiar, especially having kids. You go home.
And they jump right and hit you right in the broken rib.
It's not even, they know not to touch you.
Right.
But you're laying on the bed. They jump on the bed. Just that vibration of the bed. You can't cough. You can't laugh.
Wow.
You can't do anything. So I'm very, very familiar with the rib injury because it happened to me every year from 5 through 12, and sometimes it was multiple ribs, and it is what it is. You just deal with it.
And let's welcome in our guest here on the Odd Couple. It's none other than Cousin Sal, who is, of course, the co-founder of the Extra Points Podcast Network, right, TJ, our boss, and the co-host of Fox Bet Live on FS1. And you can follow Cousin Sal on Twitter at The Cousin Sal. What's up, Cousin Sal? How you doing?
What's happening? My boss.
What's that?
Pepper Parlay podcast. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Did we lose Cousin Sal? We got a bad connection.
Man, all that money, he got bad service.
All right. Well, let me just say this, but while we're getting them back, want to stream what you love all in one place? Introducing Discovery Plus, a new streaming service bringing you the greatest collection of real-life entertainment from your favorite brands, plus exclusive originals you won't find anywhere else. That's right, Discovery Plus starts streaming in early 2021, U.S. only. All right, Cousin Sal, we got you?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't like my intro, Rob, so I just hung up. That's what I did.
It wouldn't be the first one. You wouldn't be the first one. But as if people don't know, TJ and I have a podcast together called the Lemon Pepper Parlay Podcast, which is on Cousin Sal's the Extra Points Podcast Network.
Yeah.
And Cousin Sal, tell everybody about it.
You do a great job. I like to mix sports, comedy, and sports gambling, and I couldn't ask for two better guys to represent that little crossover there. And we have 5 or 6 podcasts that, we have Jerry Ferrara and Jen Piacenti, have fantasy football. We got me, Dave Damashek, Charlotte Wilder. We have the Extra Points flagship show, my Against All Odds fellas. We go deeper into gambling. But like I said, you guys knock it out of the park. Oh, my God. TJ, what your parlay, who'd you have, the Vikings? We all had the Browns. You had the Vikings, right?
The Vikings, man. I don't know why I keep picking these middle-of-the-road teams, man. I got to learn my lesson.
Don't you feel like Cousins is like Goff? Like, they'll show up every other week. They'll screw you. We probably shouldn't be betting for or against the Bears any week. You kind of get what you deserve with that. But I was on the Vikings as well. Just awful.
Because you think that, like, to save their playoff chances,
you
they
would think
needed
they're
to
going
win
to come
that
out
game.
and play
Right.
well. Yes.
Right.
But Cousin Sal, the one that got me was, of course, I took the Jets plus 17. But to think that they would win the game outright, I mean, seriously, how shocked were you by that?
I was shocked, and I'm an idiot because I make these monstrous money line parlays with all favorites. Now, putting a favorite like that on a money line parlay, you're basically looking for change in your couch cushions, just to add to it. But I'm stupid. I like to look up at the scoreboard and see 24-3. So I added the Rams, and I was foolish. I'll admit it. I don't know why I did it. But on the other hand, guys, you watch that game, they were poised to win it. Like, Akers had 2 20-yard runs and called back on penalties. Like, they couldn't get out of their own way, that stupid team. I don't know what I was looking at yesterday. That was bizarre.
Yeah, yesterday was one of those weeks where how about Houston? The way they lost to the Colts the first game, and they turn around the second game and pretty much lose the same way, just a different player.
Yeah, I was wondering, TJ, has that ever happened before within like 3 weeks? 2 teams play each other, and there's a fumble inside the 10-yard line, under 2 minutes left in a one-score game? I'd be surprised if it happened before. But honestly, with Deshaun Watson, that's my witness relocation player right there. If we could get him out of Houston, maybe even on to Chicago or another middle team or something. I feel bad for that guy. Just get him out of there. If he was an NBA player, he'd be like, no, screw this. I want to go play for the Rams, and then they would have it done, right? Like the trade would be made. But
say you want out, they're going to make it happen in the NBA. Nope. That's for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's the player I feel most bad for in the entire league.
Our guest here on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio is Cousin Sal, the co-founder of the Extra Points Podcast Network and co-host of Fox Bet Live, of course, on FS1. What about now the Ravens, Cousin Sal, look like they've turned it around. I mean, they put up 40 points, I mean, have they gotten this straightened out?
I think so. They have a favorable schedule, right? They play the Giants, and then like next week they got an easy one. So they'll win out. I think they steal that last spot from the Dolphins. And correct me if I'm wrong. If they're a 7 seed and the Steelers are the 2 seed.
Oh wow,
that's the one you don't want to see, right, TJ? If you're Pittsburgh,
it's hard. It's hard to be the divisional opponent 3 times in 1 year. It's virtually impossible. So I guess you're saying basically the Dolphins are going to lose to the Bills last game of the season.
I think one of those games, right? Well, I can't even remember who they play. They're at Las Vegas. Yeah, they'll probably win that game this week. Yeah, I do think that's how it'll shake out, and the Ravens will steal that spot. But they have 3 runners or 3 ball carriers, including Lamar, who are over 500 yards. So that seems like a good recipe for winning in January.
Now tonight, I put 100 shekels down on the Steelers minus 14.5. Am I Meshuggah, Cousin Sal?
No, I don't think you're Meshuggah. I think this is a game where the Steelers get well, probably similar to last night. We all had the Browns, right? I think if they win like 27-9, 27-10, TJ, it's got to kill you that this isn't a competitive game, right? That the Bengals are going to struggle to score a touchdown. But I kind of do feel like that's what we're gonna see tonight.
You kind of get resigned once Joe got hurt. And
right.
the games thereafter, the Bengals just struggle to put points on the board. They don't have that backup quarterback that the coaches feel confident in, let alone the players. And so it's just hard for them to score points. The Steelers are going to roll.
Over under receiving yards on FanDuel.
What is it?
It's like 28.5. I was like, oh my God.
God,
what a
that's
sad
terrible.
State of affairs.
28.
28.5.
He's going to get over that. No way.
He's got to, right?
No
my
way.
God,
No way. But the Bengals, are they going to be able to protect? And is a quarterback feeling going to be accurate enough? This game, the Steelers should cover, and I believe is going to go under.
Yeah, right. Much like last night, which we all nailed. But, yeah, I feel bad. Yeah, your Bengals, you played for the team, so I can't say my. But when you guys, I heard over the news break, Cowboys did not have any All-Pros. I was like, wait a minute, that's craziness. Then I went through in my head, I'm like, oh, my God, they don't deserve any. What does this come to? This is 2020 where Dallas isn't even close to having an All-Pro. Very sad.
Luckily, it's not the Pro Bowl of years past when you get guys pull out because it's not in Hawaii, and so the 6th, 7th, 8th alternate makes it.
That's true.
Yeah, that happened this year because you're not going anywhere.
Because you're not going anywhere. So this is a true Pro Bowl year for guys that actually earned it.
Speaking of a guy not getting to the Pro Bowl, what about Tom Brady not making it with all the weapons in Tampa Bay, Cousin Sal?
Are
it was
you
supposed
okay
to be
with that,
a
Rob? I know
layup.
you're very probably torn up about that, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that says about church mice and stuff like that. I can't make out Brady. People want to give him credit for that comeback against Atlanta. It feels like everybody does that against Atlanta, and shame on them.
Yes.
Shame on them for not showing up. But Brady, I'll look at devil's advocate. No one should go a complete half with that offense and put up a 0, right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
With the pieces that they have. I want you to know, how confident are you that I'm going to wear? I got 3 pair of Jordan bets where I get a pair of Jordans. And all I need is for the Bucks not to make it to the Super Bowl. 3 guys, including Chris Broussard, bet me a pair of Jordans no higher than $200. I'm feeling pretty good. What do you think?
I think you're good. I will say this about the NFC. I'm looking at that, and especially with the Rams going down to the Jets. I liken them to like a buffet that's been out for 3 hours. You're excited about it, then you take a look, you're like, ooh, I don't know about that. Would you be surprised if any of the NFC teams were bounced in the first round, like the way they're playing? Because I wouldn't. The AFC, a different story.
Well, all right. Hey, Cousin Sal, as always, man, a pleasure. Thanks for hopping in on us. And don't forget to check out his podcast and all his picks on the Fox Football. You'll be killing it. And Cousin Sal, we appreciate you. Thanks so much.
You guys are doing a great job. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you, Cousin Sal. Take care.